Good morning, SMF MMTs. We have the New York Stock Exchange Gap Open Up list. One of the things that we're taking a look at after yesterday's price action is the actual, we have a diminishing gap list on the NYSE, but we don't have high ratio gaps. So let's be clear on what I'm saying. And it's very diminishing. You got three names: PUK, DANG, and ESB. Now, having said all of that, is that across the board, though, you do, whether it's 3 cents on up, you do have all positive on the NYSE to some degree of much lower ratio gaps for the gap open. On the gap open down, well, let's take a look and see what we have here. We have SAM down $7.05, FN down $2.25, Mosaic and Potash. Those are in the ag stocks. Watch those gap downs. They do like, once they do put in their bottom, each one of them, their deltas are different than your other ones that your internet market maker stocks and other things that you cover. These are a little bit different, but they will bounce and give you a yield off of that bottom with that 3, 6, 9, 12, 15 short cover up on each one of those. And we're interested at lower delta prices on these and where markets can get made with those two. CF, well, that's $1.10 down. Cleveland Cliffs, I think that's the name of it. Juniper is down. Remember the big dump that happened the other day was at Finisar. Nasdaq Comp Gap Open Up, MMTs, look at here, CRDN, another whopper. Let us not forget about BSFT that had its earnings and its news and whatnot, you know, pile drive those highs and that price action momentum yesterday. That one will have to come down. So keep an eye on that. CRDN, ABAB. So on the Nasdaq Comp, MICC, Tractor Supply is in there now. That one also has a nice little ratio when they slide that bid back, and if it's strong in the IR 65 and higher for the day, well, guess what? It's a nice little place you can pull out, you know, some money there. Volume management would be the key. So there's your gap open up right here. Children Place, that's a retailer, you know. Okay, MICC, take a look at that one. It's in the telecom. Let's take a look at the gap open down list. And we're going to have one in here particularly that we did a video on last night. And it's going to be this FNSR down $15. JDS Uniphase following its pattern. That was in earnings. Now, you guys were trading that, and it will at some point have a good little bounce that you can pull $1.20 off of those lows when it's made at the bottom end where those shorts would cover and drive your price higher for you to exit into the move. Watch, so we've got WebMD, we got Google down on this gap list, so you can see the gap down list. It's longer in nature. Right here. We have a leadership. Look for Google today off of that bottom low. Yesterday I said it would come up about $7 off the lows, and it did. And the thing about it is, now just remember, the Nasdaq 100 must be performing. That means that that Apple name has to perform, and that means that that bull TQQ has to be performing. That's this one here. And the thing about it is, it's, you know, to me, it's the other side of, you know, it's part of the Nasdaq 100 and comp all combined, but it's got leadership, and Apple is the one here. So then you have others like Google and whatnot. This here will have to burn at a higher rate today, and the gap down, the left elbow gap down on this bull is always such a wonderful trade. I mean, we have people that make markets on this every day, all day. It's got great ranges. It likes to come down. It gets made. It likes to torpedo off. Your bid and ask ratio hits that bottom, bam, and then it starts clocking the other way on the RPMs, and you break out and you break higher, and then you just sell within that teeny range. Okay, and it does like to do 3 teenies up and down, and you also have to learn how to keep the bid over here. Understand that in your MMT platform, because you keep your bid below the market, maybe it's a teeny and a half or so, depending on where you're at in the brain with the IR and the bid and ask ratio. Okay, so anyways, as far as the futures go this morning, they've been mixed. They've been up, they've been down. Crude oil's at 105.72. Brent is at 114.86, up $1.80. So you've got some of that still weighing on the market. That means, oh, let us not forget, I want the new MMTs. We're going to be looking at indexes, and one of them is going to be the trucking industry. And why is that? Because they're having to pay higher costs to get the goods from one town to the next. Is how are they going to be able to pass that on? But that's outside of pre-market. Anyways, all eyes on the bull. Let us not forget SQQQ. This is the other side of that trade, which is the bear. And is that bear getting more strength every day? And the bull, that's this one here, losing price action, meaning that are we going to go up and break above 87.5 today on the bull? Because if we do that, then that means that the delta expansion from the delta contraction from the reversal that happened 13 days ago with that gap down high bar. And if we come up and we're holding at higher delta expansions, that means that equities will have better support, and you're going to bounce harder as well. If you come back and they do like they did on Friday after Thursday and just start to slide that bid, well, you got to get on that trade now. And it will all be evident in your MMT platform. And all of this is price action volatility from one day to the next with gap up, gap down, earnings. Okay, watch the moves. And just remember, if they come back today and the indexes remain weak and the fear indicators are breaking higher, you got to watch that shift in that trade management now. Okay, and you can simply do that in your MMT market minder alert centers that you have. You can have them and you can look at them. You'll know exactly where the heartbeat is of the market as far as its strengths and weaknesses, and as far as being able to take long and short trades. Look for that scenario where they go up, they slide that first half bar, they can come up, they can hit that teeny line again, you don't close below it, and you start with another big red distribution bar, and you start building weakness below 35 in a lot of this stuff, well, then you know that the buyer is not there. And that sliding the negative ratio, the left side of the market is when they would be selling down this bid side, MMTs. Welcome to pre-market this morning. Today's date is 3/9/2011. The time is 6:14 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. MMTs are going to get ready to make a market. That's what they do best. They got the left elbow gap down. They've got everything that they need to understand that just the opposite is that when they hit that bottom and they move rapidly, and how do you know they're not going to look back? It's because you're building ascending half bar ratio higher from the previous bar. And that equals a lot of price action strength in the move, and they will break up another 3 teenies. Good day, MMTs.